Good day there, guys, and welcome to some more stories from Reddit. And thanks for joining me today, as always. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Okay, well, on the True Off My Chest subreddit, this one was written by user Expensive Opinion, and it's titled, "My brother-in-law is the reason why my husband left me. I don't know what to do now. I, female 38, met my brother-in-law, male 38, at uni. He asked me out in their first year, and I refused. He called me a soward and that I'm shallow. My best friend told me that it was harmless comments from a drunken guy who got rejected. I never thought myself shallow. It was his demeanor and awkwardness that was off-putting to me. Anyway, he proved my friend right, and other than these comments, I've never felt uncomfortable during my uni years because he never bothered me again, not even looked my way. The next time I met him was when my baby sister, 28, introduced him as her boyfriend. I didn't even recognize him at first because it was like 9 to 10 years since that day he talked to me. He was visibly annoyed that I didn't recognize him and called me a liar. The family was skeptical at first about him, but he seemed to treat my sister right, and she seemed happy. He is very rich, taking her all over the world, and he seemed kind with it too. They got married after a year of dating, and they have 3 children. I met my now ex, male 40, 5 years ago, and the only odd comment from my brother-in-law was that I was still as shallow and superficial as I was in uni. At the time, I took it as a joke, but in hindsight, when I found out the truth and started thinking back, looking for red flags, this was probably a big one. He never showed any signs that he disliked my husband, and he was always decent enough. And his indifference to have a close friendship with my husband and I didn't seem odd because he was always a recluse. A year ago, my husband came home and accused me of cheating, and he had evidence. The guy contacted him and he had nudes, etc., of me on his phone. The guy told my husband that he didn't know at first that I was married, but as soon as he found out, he contacted my now ex. He even apologized to my husband. I've never met this guy in my life. Nothing I said or did made my husband believe me. He left me, and our divorce is pending. Then yesterday, that guy contacted me. He apologized for what he did and told me that he is friends with my brother-in-law. He sent me conversations, endless conversations my brother-in-law had about me for years. He's never forgotten that I, in his words, didn't even give him a chance and only judged him by his looks. He called me a soward in that chat and both group chats with his friends, but mostly with this guy. They planned this attack, and my brother-in-law somehow got access to my photos. The reason this guy contacted me now is that he felt guilty because even when my marriage is over, my brother-in-law still was angry and hateful, especially when he heard that I was on a date last weekend. So, the friend felt that he didn't help his friend but ruined innocent people's lives. I'm not sure what to do. My brother-in-law has actually been happier and more sociable than usual since my divorce, and now I know why. Although, first, I thought he felt sorry and wanted to support me, his jokes about me ending up an old maid with cat's companions don't sound like jokes anymore. He meant them. I don't want to ruin my sister's life. She's very happy with her husband. I'm not sure either if I can with her husband. I'm not sure if I should tell my ex or not. I'm very heartbroken that he didn't believe me. I love him very much. He's the love of my life. But I'm not sure if I can forgive him for not believing me. But he is a victim in this too. So maybe he needs to know for closure. I'm so terribly sad and hurt. I'm sorry this post got very long. Oh man, what a horrible situation. I can't believe people would go ahead with something like that. Like deep faking photos and, sending it to someone, ultimately ruining their marriage. That's just so spiteful. It's clear that the brother-in-law's got some serious issues. This is almost stalker behavior. I feel like he only got with the sister just to get closer to her. And yeah, I think it's worth telling the ex-husband, not necessarily to try and mend the relationship and get back together, but, to provide some sort of closure and healing. Let's go to the comments. It wouldn't shock me if this guy fanned your sister and is dating her just to remain close to you. It feels too coincidental that he somehow popped back up in your life and then got mad that you didn't remember him. Opie replies, I feel so too. It makes it even worse. Why wouldn't you tell your sister? Her husband is bat crap crazy. Yes, you should tell your sister her husband is crazy. Yes, you should clear your name with your ex, even if you don't want to go back to him. You should also go to the police over your pictures he shared without consent. OP replies, I will be honest, I'm terrified. I understand that you're hurt your husband didn't believe you, but it sounds from your post he had what he thought were hard and condemning evidence. For many people, it can shake their trust to the core. I think you should tell your ex or soon-to-be ex, if I understand correctly, and your sister the truth, partially because you'll be able to fix your image as the cheater. But think about them too. Your sister needs to know who she's married to. He's an obsessive and vindictive guy that still harbors such deep resentment to his now sister-in-law, who rejected him once like 15 years ago, to the point he keeps bad-mouthing you to his friends and destroyed your marriage. Your husband believes his wife cheated on him. That can be traumatic for most people. It's not fair to let him think he was betrayed like that by someone he loves. He deserves to know the truth so he won't hurt as much, and maybe if you want to, it can be a reason to pause the divorce proceedings and think about the future with the truth in mind. Maybe go to couples counseling and try to fix your marriage. Yeah, some solid advice there. On to an update. My soon-to-be ex-husband knows everything now. Apparently, the guy who contacted me contacted my husband at the same time and confessed to him. My soon-to-be ex is coming to town this weekend, and he wants to talk. Afterwards, I'll probably need to look into taking legal action if that's possible and tell my family. I think now that exposing him is the best and more safe approach should anything more serious happen. At least people would be aware of who to blame. I want to at least make sure that my sister and her children are in safety before I tell them everything, like meeting them at my parents' house after I tell my parents. The pictures were real and were probably stolen from my phone or my husband's because he's the only one that I took the pictures for. I don't know if I can get any justice since the pictures were not of my face. At least I was smart enough not to have my face shown in nudes. I don't know what will happen. Oh, okay. So there were actual pictures. I don't know why I thought there were deep fakes or something. I figured that surely he couldn't have had access to her personal photos. I mean, that's a serious security breach and another major issue OP would need to sort out then. One comment says, so you're telling me that this guy's kept himself around you for 20 years and is still hung up on you rejecting him? It sounds like he preyed on your sister to get close to you, and will keep trying to ruin your life if you let him get away with this. You need to tell your sister what he did, and the guy he used needs to tell your ex what he did, not to stir any pots or get your ex back, but so everyone knows what a psycho this guy is. If he's still trying to get back at you after decades of you simply rejecting him, he's never going to stop, and he's never going to let you be happy. Op replies, yes, he's been following me throughout my uni years and even afterwards. He found my sister and managed to charm her when they got married. I was single, and apparently, he was telling his friends how he was glad I was old and single and miserable, not my experience of my single life. Then when I met my husband, he was angry because he didn't think I would find someone at my age, 33. Now when we are getting a divorce, he was very pleased again, saying I would definitely never find someone at 38, that I would regret turning him down. But I was on a date last weekend, so he spiraled down again and was angry and wrote horrible things about me. So, his friend chose to come forward because he thought that my divorce wasn't enough for this guy. His words, my God, imagine spending a decade of your pathetic life trying to bring someone down just because they rejected you in college. What a loser. Another mini update. I really don't have much to add. My sister is very angry. She said that I've ruined her husband's reputation because my ex is blasted him and his friend everywhere now. He's talking about wanting to end his life because I ruined it because of a joke he played. My parents have told her everything the day everything was exposed, and apparently, she believed in me at first, but now she's turned on me. So, she's refusing to listen. I wish I could have a moment with her first before hell broke loose. A joke? Seriously, a joke? You ended the marriage. Wow. Op comments on the husband. He's looking for jobs here because he wants to move back. I got very anxious and asked if he's doing this because of me because we're not together, and this wasn't the right time to pressure me. But he said he was doing it for himself and that he doesn't want anything from me. But that, and he doesn't want to leave town for the brother-in-law to think he has easy prey to harm. I didn't ask about the one he's seeing. I felt it would be disrespectful to interrogate him since I have no right to do that. Maybe it's not serious, or maybe she's willing to move here. I don't know. I have spoken to lawyers. they don't seem to think this could lead to anything. Oh, so the husband's already moved on with another girlfriend. It sounds like another comment from Op says, yes, and he said that he couldn't just wait and let brother-in-law believe that I was alone and easy prey. He said that police wouldn't do anything. He was right about that, and people like brother-in-law are better exposed to everyone because they value their image. He doesn't seem to be understanding of my sister, however, and the way she was put in the middle. He did apologize a lot, but probably only because I was distraught and upset about what he did. I don't think he regrets anything. He's very sad himself, and he's been apologizing all the time about everything, including not believing me or trusting his gut that believed me. My brother-in-law hasn't bothered me again since he tried to call me to threaten me after everything blew up because my ex went to his place again and threatened beating him up again. Now my sister is even angrier. Another update on the husband's relationship. A few days later, yeah, it's over. I don't think it was a serious relationship. I just heard rumors that he had a girlfriend but didn't know the details, so maybe I thought it was more serious than it was. Now he's moving back, and I haven't heard that someone is moving with him. So, I don't know. We talk on the phone every day, but I don't want to pry. On the brother-in-law, he's filed no contact orders against my ex-husband and me. Okay, so it sounds like no girlfriend in the picture anymore. So maybe they could salvage their relationship if they both really wanted to. On to a new update. I'm sorry that I've been gone for too long, and I'm overwhelmed by the support that you've given me here. Some of you still ask about me. I don't know where to start. I've been in constant pain and stress about everything that happened, but my brother-in-law is now exposed to everyone about what he did to me. For those of you who think he's in love with me, he isn't. He very much hates my guts and has done since the day I rejected him. Hate is also a driving force, and not only love. So for the stupid users that I would like to call losers who made fun of me about it, for me bragging about Amon not being over me in 20 years, that's not it. If this is bragging, then you're actually very sick in the head. Unfortunately, I was sent to these comments from a different sub about updates. What a bunch of losers. I was in constant fear that my brother-in-law will be hurting my sister because of me, and I'm not certain if he will, but that was the only reason I've been apathetic. I wasn't sure what the right step was with people like him. He has hidden his hatred so well for so long. So what more is he capable of? I didn't want my sister and her children to be the collateral damage. That's why I've been careful. I'm sorry to disappoint you by not being the strong bad bee. I have other priorities. My sister and I finally talked. I love her and her children very much. She seemed just very hurt and questioning her entire marriage, and who can blame her? I tried the baby steps approach. I wanted her to know I was there for her, and I was honest with her about my worries about her and her children with a man like him. It worked for a while, and I was being hopeful, but something changed and probably had to do with her husband giving her an ultimatum: divorce or cut your family off. She chose her marriage, which broke my parents and me, but I don't think we can do anything about it. It's her own choice, even if we believe it's coerced. But maybe there's this little chance that she knows him better than we do. There's the little hope that he is a better person towards his family. I'm clinging on to that hope. She wrote us, telling us to forget she and her children existed and that they'll take legal action if we ever try to contact them. Brother-in-law deleted all his social media accounts, and his friends apparently all want nothing to do with him. I've heard he's planning on leaving the city because everyone knows what he did now, and he's having a hard time with it. He barely leaves the house and has been shamed even at work. My ex-husband and I are moving on with the divorce. I don't blame him for believing the rumors, but at the same time, I wish he knew me better, like I thought he did, that I would never do such a thing and cheat on him. I'm so sorry that he moved back for me and probably was hoping we could give it another chance. But I can't. He has apologized so many times and said so many times that he never truly believed the rumors. But I've started to think that our marriage wasn't strong enough to overcome a rumor. It's nobody's fault, but I thought our love was stronger than it actually was. I think we both thought. I've started dating a new guy a few weeks before all this started, after over a year of me not even being able to leave bed. He's seen all of this unfolding and has been very patient and supportive. I think I have a real shot at happiness now, at least. He knows everything and is well prepared in case my brother-in-law isn't done with me yet. Thank you for reading all of this, and thank you again for being there for me. Now, for some final comments. I'm sorry, your sister is in a tough place. I hope she comes around because he's isolating her now. Hope your replies. My only hope now is that she knows something that we don't about him, that he is better than we think. I'm so sorry too, and I have nightmares all the time since she cut us off. Question. Did your sister mention if brother-in-law admitted to everything? Does your sister truly believe you? Opie says, my sister believes me. He's dropped the mask and wasn't pretending anymore. He can't contain his hate for me anymore and is basically still having a hard time getting over the fact that, quote, I didn't even give him a chance before saying no. How did I know he wasn't good enough for me, only judging him by his looks? My sister told me all of this, on if her husband heard her out and what really happened, and if he understood that her devices were hacked. Opie says, no, he was in a state of shock and he was inconsolable. I gave him all my devices to check and demanded to meet the guy to confront him, but it spread around very quickly, and I guess he succumbed to the pressure. He said that he wanted to believe me, and his guts told him I was innocent, but it made it worse because then he started thinking that he wasn't thinking clearly, only because he loved me. This is so demented. Even if she wanted to work things out with him, how can she stomach that her husband is still so hung up on rejection from her sister years ago? I don't know how I would overcome such a thing. Not to mention how holding that grudge enough to actively ruin her life speaks volumes about him as a toxic, hateful, vengeful abuser. He is not healthy. Opie replies, this was when she agreed to separate and was contemplating leaving him. I think she talked to a lawyer even, and she changed her mind afterwards when he basically told her she wouldn't get a dime from him. Now he knows her weakness and made it clear if she didn't cut all contact, he will be the one leaving her, so she did. But for a while there, she was seriously contemplating leaving, and that's when she was honest about everything she knew. Yeah, it seems crazy to me that this sister is willing to cut off all her family just to stay with this guy. Like, no sane person can continue a happy marriage after that. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's all for that story right now, and we'll move on to another one. Okay, we are straight up gear shifting into cat advice today. This one was written by user Goblin Moding, and it's titled, Sorry, Goblin Moding. What a great name. It's titled, Cat Will Not Let Me Sleep In. Genuinely, I get up every morning and feed her breakfast at 6 a.m. She eats, cuddles up to me, and we both go back to sleep. The weekend comes, then 10:30 hits. Every time we get here without fail, she wakes me up, starts just staring at me until I wake up because of her unsettling presence. If that doesn't work, it usually does. She taps me, great, I'm awake. But it's not enough for her. She starts pulling my hair next. If I don't get out of bed immediately, LOL, I tell her no, and she backs off. I turn my head, and she's biting my hair again to get my attention. It's not food she wants, me to pet her. She won't play with me. I've tried all of her toys. Is it? I've tried chasing her. I've tried letting her bite my hands like she always wants to, which obviously I don't just let her do. As soon as I get up, she goes and stares out of the window or lays down where I was just laying, or just starts running laps on my bed. I don't get it. I have no clue what she wants me to do other than let her have my spot. Sounds like Obi's got their own personal alarm clock here. But yeah, honestly, this does sound pretty annoying. Let's look at the comments. I read somewhere that cats see sleeping in one place too long as a sign of illness. Although they sleep 16 to 20 hours a day, they tend to nap for a while, then switch spots. It's a survival tactic of being aware of your surroundings. They don't understand that we tend to have one big sleep every day instead of several little naps. I bet by 10:30, your cat is worried you've been in the same place too long and it's not safe, so they're trying to wake you to move where you're napping. Our cats do the same thing when we sleep in. What I've realized with my cat is a set routine is really important. I was at an internship a couple of months ago where I would wake up every day at the same time and go to sleep at the same time, and then we had no problems. But as soon as my internship ended and my routine got messed up, she would gore at me in the morning, stomp all over my body. It hurts so bad, and sometimes even attack me. Despite all the wounds she's given me, I must say, cats really keep us on our feet. I no longer have the habit of sleeping in. LOL. Yeah, well, that's really interesting about the survival tactic thing, as well as the routine thing. Is there truth to this stuff? Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. I don't really know cats that well. Okay, on to an update. Long story short, my cat kept waking me up randomly at night and not letting me sleep, then not letting me sleep in on days that I could, even after feeding her. I have a smartwatch and it, among other things like being a watch, also tracks my oxygen levels and heart rate and stuff at night. She woke me up again this morning at around 4:30 and very violent, would not let me go back to sleep. I sat up and noticed that I felt pretty winded, so I opened up my watch and my oxygen levels had dropped from 95 to 89. Then I saw that it did the same thing yesterday, right before she woke me up. Then I went back and started checking, and almost every time, she's just randomly woken me up has correlated with my oxygen dropping below normal. I don't know if I was breathing funny, or if she just knew something was up, and I know correlation doesn't equal causation, but the pattern is way too obvious. I already know I have breathing struggles when I'm awake, so I guess I'm going to get a sleep study done. Cats, man. She's sleeping by my feet now, completely content, now that it's back to normal. I don't know if she knows how smart and awesome she is, but man, I love her so much. She can be an absolute bully sometimes, but it's always out of love. Edit. Sometimes cats are just jerks. This doesn't always mean something is wrong. Always consult with a medical professional when you suspect something may be going on. In my case, I've had these symptoms for years and never explored sleep apnea as a diagnosis and wouldn't have thought to do so until now after noticing this pattern thanks to my cat. Wow, there you go. So the cat knew there was a problem, and yeah, sleep apnea can be a very serious problem. I mean, I've heard it takes years off your life if you let it continue. And yeah, if you've ever heard someone sleep with it, you know it's a problem. Like, you can hear it sometimes. They'll stop breathing for like a minute straight. Sounds like Opie might need to wear the Darth Vader mask to sleep in the future.